The air in the room changed before she even finished her first sentence, because everyone watching immediately realized Amy Klobuchar wasn't here to warm up the crowd or ease into a slow exchange. She came prepared, she came sharpened, and she came with something far more dangerous than anger or theatrics. She came with receipts. Real ones. Documented ones. Word-for-word quotes from Kash Patel himself, pulled from podcasts, interviews, public appearances, and his own posts. And the way she opened,
And the FBI runs on facts, it runs on truth. Truth matters, and without truth, the whole system breaks down. You said that Donald Trump has every right to tell the world that in 2020, 2016, and every other election in between was rigged by our government because they were. Yes or no, did you say that?
I don't have that statement in front of me, but
Okay, that was from August 27th, 2023 Thrive Time show. I'll put it on the record. These claims made in that statement were rejected by courts, including by Republican judges. Is that correct?
I don't have enough of the facts in front of me to make that assessment.
I will put that statement on the record, but I think everyone in this committee, including the Republican members, knows that these statements were rejected by courts. You were asked about the police officers in the Capitol who testified in the January 6 hearings, and you accused them of lying. Is that correct or not correct?
I don't think that's accurate.
Okay, Joe Packed podcast, March 2024, we'll put it on the record. I was there. The police officers were heroes that day.
Yes.
Did you post on your personal social media account in May of 2024, January 6th, never an insurrection, cowards in uniforms exposed. They broke the chain of command.
I believe you're referencing a post that was shown in part earlier. I don't have it in front of me.
You posted it, and it was on your account, and we will again put that out there once more as we go on. I don't want to lose any more time on this, but every one of these, there's a record of it, and you haven't answered. You promoted a COVID vaccine reversal or detox supplement. One scientist said, I quote, "None of these substances in any form would minimize side effects from a COVID-19 vaccine." That is preying on innocent people. Did you perform clinical trials before you made that claim?
I'm not a doctor, so no.
But you did promote this supplement and told people that it would reverse or mitigate the side effects from COVID vaccine.
Did I give people an opportunity to make an independent choice for what's best for their families? Yes.
You did that last year, correct?
I don't have it in front of me again, Senator.
Mr. Patel, the FBI tackles some of the most complex threats that we face: terrorists, hostile foreign powers, violent gangs, fentanyl, criminal organizations. Your mission, though, has been to go after people. I've looked at it. I've read this stuff. Yes or no? When Trump wins, did you say this? When Trump wins in 2024 and is in power in 2025, we can prosecute them, referring to Justice Department officials for an actual RICO statute violation, for criminally organizing the United States government to break the law to rig presidential elections. Did you say that, yes or no?
Again, Senator, you're reading a partial statement, so I'm unable to fully respond.
Okay, again, we'll put it on the record. X22 report podcast 20, that is from, I'll get you the date, about a year ago. One of the names on your list was Bill Barr. Chairman Grassley has called him one of the most capable cabinet officials I've ever been able to vote for. Senator Graham has said, I have nothing but total respect and admiration for the job done by William Barr as Attorney General of the United States. Is Bill Barr on your list of whatever you want to call them, been referred to as an enemies list? You've called them deep state after serving his country as the Attorney General of the United States. Is he on your list because of a personal vendetta?
Well, it's not whatever we want to call it, Senator. With all due respect, it's not an enemies list. That is a total mischaracterization.
I asked you, I actually used the words you used for the list, which was deep state, right? That's what you put at the top.
It is a glossary
against
in
the
the
Attorney
back.
General of the United States. Is it because of a personal vendetta that he's on the list? You're under oath.
I have no personal vendetta against Bill
Okay,
Barr.
he said about you, you would never be able to command the respect necessary to run the day-to-day operations of the Bureau That was actually in writing in his book. He had virtually, about you, no experience that would qualify you to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency, and that your appointment, as noted by Senator Durbin as Deputy Director to the FBI, would happen over his dead body. Is it, yes or no, why you would put him on the list of deep state as a former Attorney General, Trump Attorney General of the United States, because he wouldn't break the law for Donald Trump? Is that why?
Absolutely not.
As you know, he repeatedly told the president in no uncertain terms that he did not see evidence of fraud that would have affected the outcome of the election. Did you say in February of 2021 that the election stuff was never my job and I stayed out of that stuff?
Again, I don't know what comment you're referring to, but I'm sure you're reading a piece of something.
You said it on Pushback on a podcast. Is it true, though, that in December of 2020, you reached out to the Trump acting Deputy Attorney General and asked him to investigate a conspiracy theory claiming that people in Italy had used military technology and satellites to remotely tamper with voting machines in the U.S. and switch votes for Trump from Trump to Biden? Is that true?
What was the date?
That was out of December of 2020.
I was Chief of Staff to the Department of Defense, so I don't believe that's accurate in any way.
That came out of testimony before Congress. I will give it to you. Have you referred to the media as the most powerful enemy of the United States that they have ever seen? Is that right?
Again, you're reading a quote. I take that you're reading it accurately.
CPAC 22324. You said we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens who helped Joe Biden rig the elections. We're going to come after you whether it's criminally or civilly. Is that something you said?
That's a partial statement of what I said.
Steve Bannon's podcast. You also said you would put the entire fake news mafia press corps on your list. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
I don't have that in front of me.
Benny Johnson's podcast 82123. You have said that the FBI, including today, you said that they remain utterly corrupt. This is an agency with agents who have taken down terrorists, taken down bank robbers, taken down crime. And you wrote,
So calm and controlled, made it even more gripping. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't dramatize it. She simply set the stage, and in doing so, locked every viewer into the next 30 seconds without even trying. She started by grounding the conversation in something that's easy for commentators and online warriors to forget. The FBI isn't a meme. It isn't a slogan. It isn't a shorthand for political arguments. It's people, real people, tens of thousands of them, who get up every morning not knowing what they're walking into. Agents who chase violent criminals into dark corners of the country. Analysts who intercept signals from hostile foreign powers. Cyber teams hunting intrusions that most Americans will never even hear about. Technicians handling explosive devices. Field squads knocking on doors no one else wants to knock on. She reminded everyone that these people deserve leadership rooted in truth, not drama. And she did it so deliberately that the tone of the entire hearing shifted, and then she went straight for the heart of the issue, credibility. Her first question wasn't long. It wasn't complicated. It wasn't political. It was simple. Did you say this? Yes or no? She read a verbatim quote from one of Kash Patel's interviews. A clear, recorded statement. And instead of giving a direct answer, he tried to create distance. He said he didn't have that statement in front of him. That was all it took for the tension to thicken, because this wasn't an obscure detail from years ago. This was his own public statement, on a platform millions of people have access to, and the silence after his answer said more than the answer itself. But Klobuchar didn't pause. She moved straight to the next point, and this time, the stakes were even higher. She brought up his statement about officers who defended the Capitol, men and women who faced violence, chaos, and danger. She quoted his interview where he accused them of dishonesty. He denied saying it. He said he didn't think her citation was accurate. She responded by pulling out his own post, under his own name, calling certain officers cowards in uniforms who broke the chain of command. And when she read it aloud, clear as day, he still avoided confirming it. He said he didn't have the post in front of him. That's when the pattern became undeniable. Public statement. Denial. Public statement. Deflection. Public statement. Don't have it in front of me. Rumors online have long floated the idea that Kash Patel shifts tone depending on who he's speaking to, confident and forceful on friendly platforms, careful and vague on neutral ones, and evasive under oath. Those rumors remain unproven, but in that moment, he was playing straight into them. Every time she held up a direct quote from him, he moved away from it. Hard. But then she reached a topic that no one expected to come up so powerfully: the supplement controversy. She confronted him with his promotion of a detox product claiming to reverse vaccine side effects. Scientists publicly said the ingredients didn't do what he implied. Health experts warned people not to rely on such claims. And when she asked him whether he had run any clinical trials, he flat out admitted, no. He said he wasn't a doctor, but he also tried to frame it as merely giving people choices. That line didn't land well, because when someone is seeking to lead an agency grounded in science, data, and evidence, promoting something unproven raises real questions about judgment. And good judgment is the backbone of high-level leadership. But the turning point of the entire hearing came next: the list. A list he labeled with a term that suggests an internal network working from the shadows. A list he made public. A list containing names of officials who had served this country for decades. But the name that stood out most was someone respected across the political spectrum. Someone who had been appointed at the highest levels of government. Someone who openly questioned Patel's qualifications. Someone who wrote in a book that Patel lacked the credibility and experience needed to lead a major federal institution. So she asked him bluntly, is he on your list because he refused to break the line for loyalty? Is it because he wouldn't do something he believed was wrong? He denied it. But the denial didn't erase the contradiction. Why else would someone with such a resume end up labeled internally as part of a shadowy network? The room felt that tension. But then came a moment that stunned even seasoned observers. Klobuchar raised an allegation based on sworn testimony that Patel had pressured officials to investigate a conspiracy theory involving foreign satellites and remote vote switching via military-grade technology. She read the testimony. She cited the date. She asked directly if it happened. He said no. He said the timeline didn't align. He questioned the accuracy. But the claim wasn't a rumor. It was in the official record. And even if his denial was sincere, it didn't dissolve the cloud of concern around that incident. Because the truth is, the fact that such a theory even reached high-level officials shows how chaotic and desperate some people were in those days. But Klobuchar wasn't done unraveling the inconsistencies. She went after another theme in Patel's rhetoric: his public attacks on the media. She read quotes where he called journalists the most powerful enemy. She quoted him saying he would go after reporters criminally or civilly. She reminded him of his broadcasts where he used extreme language to describe the entire press corps. And once again, he refused to confirm the statements. Said he didn't have them in front of him. Said she was reading partial lines. Partial or not, they were his words. And then she delivered the most explosive part of the entire hearing: his statements about the very agency he wants to lead. She read his claim that the organization was utterly compromised. She cited his suggestion that its headquarters should be shut down and repurposed into a museum. She asked him directly whether he stood by these statements. He didn't answer plainly. He shifted to talking points about misrepresentation. That moment, any viewer paying attention understood what Klobuchar was exposing. It wasn't a single quote. It wasn't a single interview. It wasn't a slip-up. It was a record. A long, documented record of extreme public statements followed by strategic avoidance when faced with accountability. And that's why his closing defense fell flat. He talked about his patriotism. He mentioned his service. He referenced endorsements. But none of that addressed the core issue she raised. He was unwilling to stand behind his own statements when it mattered most. And Klobuchar's closing remarks made that point with surgical clarity. She reminded him, and everyone listening, that these weren't distortions. These weren't rumors. These weren't political attacks. These were his own words, quoted exactly as they were delivered, from platforms he chose, audiences he addressed, and posts he published. But that's why this hearing mattered beyond politics. Because when someone wants to lead one of the most powerful investigative agencies in the world, their relationship with truth must be stable, firm, and transparent. It cannot shift with audience, platform, or pressure. It cannot disappear the moment scrutiny begins. It cannot depend on what's convenient. Institutions rely on trust. Public safety relies on clarity. Agents rely on leadership that doesn't turn into fog when the spotlight hits. And modern institutions, already under pressure, cannot function if truth is optional. This hearing wasn't about party lines. It wasn't about scoring wins. It wasn't about theatrics. It was a stress test, a test of consistency, a test of judgment, a test of honesty. And by the end, the contrast was impossible to miss. One person came prepared with facts. The other came with evasions that if you believe transparency matters, if you believe leadership requires responsibility, if you believe truth should outrank slogans, then hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay tuned. Because this story isn't ending here. The next chapter is already on the way, and you're going to want to see what happens next.